Welcome again to Everyday Cooking with Ann Sigurd, where I will show you how easy it is to make delicious, nutritious food on a budget, step by step from scratch. Subscribe to my channel and I will become your personal cooking coach. In today's video, you'll find the full recipe and a link to my cookbook in the description below. To start off, today we're going to be making strawberry cream cheese pie. This pie is amazing. I have won several contests that I have entered this as first place winner. So it will be a winner for you too. Let me show you a few of the ingredients all of the ingredients that you will need to be able to make this pie. You're gonna separate fresh strawberries. This is the time of year that you can find really great strawberries in the market, so you wanna find the freshest ones you can. These are gonna be the large strawberries in one bowl and the smaller strawberries in another bowl. We will be using oranges because it has an orange cream cheese crust filling that will go in the bottom of the crust. We'll be doing some zesting of the oranges. We'll be using cornstarch, fresh lemon juice, and sugar in the filling that we'll be making, and a little bit of cream and Philadelphia cream cheese in the filling. Okay, let's get started and see what we need to do first. I've already washed and hulled all of the strawberries to prep for today, so they're all ready to go. What I'm going to do is show you this really cool little tool, which is like amazing if you're into strawberries and you have to have them sliced every day on your cereal or whatever you like to do. This is the best little slicer possible. I need to have about 2 cups of strawberries put in my saucepan to get ready for the filling to make. So I'm just going to, as you can see, I just click the little thing and here it goes as fast as you can. I wish I could tell you where I got this tool, but it is amazing. So you can see what it looks like. Look for it online. First I'm going to put about 2 cups worth, which is what is in this bowl right now, about 2 cups worth of sliced strawberries. You want to make sure that they're washed and hulled correctly, so that no little green pieces are going to be inside the filling. It doesn't really matter how you put them in because this is the filling part that no one is going to see. The part that you'll be seeing when you see first take a look at the pie are the beautiful big strawberries over here. So you don't worry about if these are not evenly sliced. They're looking like they're in the pan ready to go, because we're going to actually mash these up in just one moment. Okay, now I'm going to take my little potato masher, or strawberry masher if you want to call it that, and just start making a little bit of juice out of these. This is something you might want to get some of your kids to help you with when you're in the kitchen. It's always fun to have family members helping, because then they really own it and they can say, hey, I made this pie, and that makes kids feel really special, and they will turn out to be cooks like my kids have and my grandkids. So anyway, here's what it looks like all mashed up. I'm going to take this over to the stove now, and what we're going to add to here is 1.5 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of cornstarch, and 2 tablespoons of fresh, and this is fresh lemon juice that I have squeezed and keep in a bottle because I love to use fresh as opposed to the other kind, okay? And we're going to grab a spoon here, turn on the heat, and stir this up. So this will start thickening. And this will take a few minutes. Okay, I just took out the chilled pie dough from my refrigerator, and I'm going to show you how to roll out a pie crust. Like I said before, you don't want to handle the dough too much with your hands. There's oils in your hands that can toughen the dough. So I have only used my plastic wrap to touch the dough minimally. I'm going to put it on my pastry cloth, but first I'm going to add a little bit of flour. What I love about the pastry cloth is that you put the flour and you rub it in and season it there. You also season your stockinette that you're going to use to roll out the pastry. You can buy these at almost any kitchen store. They're called a pastry cloth, and they include the little stockinette. I prefer this French rolling pin because it's easy and lightweight, and I can roll out easily with it. Okay. This recipe can make about 2 pie crusts, a double crust pie, or maybe up to 2 or 3, depending on the size of your pie pan. You can make 3 pie crusts out of this, depending on how thin you roll it out. I'm just going to cut it in half right now because I only need 1 pie crust right now. So this is kind of what it looks like. And then I'm going to flatten it. Now I'm rolling because I want to make a nice big circle. Sometimes you have to kind of piece a few things out together to make it where you want, so it looks like it's so it will make a circle. Okay, I've been rolling out the dough, and you can see I have a lot more dough than I actually need at this point. Now what you need to worry about sometimes, there's not quite enough moisture in your pie dough as you're rolling out. If it starts cracking and it starts getting a little bit crumbly, just take your dough, put it back in your plastic bag, and add just 3 or 4 sprinkles of water to kind of moisten it a little bit so that you won't have the cracking. What I'm going to do now, what I usually do, is I just go ahead and make a circle right here, taking my dough pieces that I know I'm not going to be using, and I'm going to just round out this dough so it looks nice and neat and ready to go. Then what you do very simply is just take your dough and you're going to roll it up, and you're going to roll it back onto your pie plate. And then you're going to center the dough down into your pie plate. And you're going to take a knife and just trim a few of the edges. You want to leave some edge here because you're going to flute the pie crust. So it looks like this, and then I'm going to take my finger, forefinger like this, and my other finger here, and I'm just going to make a regular flute around, and I'm going to stick it a little bit down so that it adheres to the edge of the bowl, the pie plate. That way it will stay in place much more easily. You know, and your whole idea isn't to make necessarily the perfect pie crust, so it looks absolutely perfect. It's nice if it does, but if it doesn't happen, you can see mine is a little bit falling here. It's going to taste great. I've been what I'm going to do at this point, after I'm finishing with fluting my pie crust, I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in my freezer for 15 minutes, because once it's thoroughly chilled, it's going to bake up very flaky and lovely. I don't know if you've ever bought a pie like Mrs. Smith's pie in the supermarket, and it always has a flaky crust because it's frozen, and they have you put it in the oven, and because it steams with the cold, it makes a very flaky crust, and this is why this is going to work out so great for you as well. I just removed the pie crust from the freezer for about 15 minutes it took to get completely chilled. I'm now going to put pie weights if you want, but I just use aluminum foil and some beans as a weight. But first I'm going to just prick the crust a little bit here, just to give it some breathing room. so that it stays in place. Then I'm going to add the pie weights. I'm going to put this pie crust in my oven at 425 degrees, and I'm going to bake that for the first 8 minutes. Then I will take the pie weights out and let it brown up for another 8 minutes. While my strawberries are thickening up and watering down, so that's going to be the filling, it's on the stove on low. While I'm waiting, I'm going to be making the filling, and that is using some softened cream cheese. I always try to use Philadelphia because it's just such a better quality, and you can find it on sale all the time, so just buy some when you can and use the best quality if you can. And it just takes 1 8-ounce package of cream cheese to do that. I'm going to add, this is what I will do next is, and one of the secret ingredients that people say, hey, there's something really special in this filling or in this pie, and it's actually zested fresh oranges, and this is called a zester, and I use this for lemons and limes and oranges and anything I want to use the zest. Zest adds so much more flavor to anything that you use. I use it in Mexican food. I use it in all my, and I love citrus in anything. So lemon zest, orange zest. I actually never waste a lemon or an orange. I take the zest and I freeze it and put it into my little compartment in my freezer where I have access to freshly zested fruit whenever I need it to add to any dish to give it a little bit of zing and extra flavor. Okay, well this recipe, you know, if you look at a recipe and it says, oh, 2 teaspoons of zest, whatever, you can modify that to your taste, and that is kind of my mantra as well. Make it yours. If you like a little more zest, put a little more in. Not as much zest. In fact, I'm going to take my other orange here, which I've already washed both of these, by the way, and I'm going to add a little bit more zest to flavor the cream cheese. Then I'm going to take my orange, slice it in half, and I'm going to put about a tablespoon or so or more of this in here. Okay, and you don't need very much. I'm going to add it to my cream cheese, my zest, a little bit of cream, about 2 tablespoons of cream, and a little bit of orange juice that you just, probably a couple of tablespoons. I'm going to beat this up till it's all incorporated and nice and smooth. The reason that we're going to have this filling in this strawberry pie is for a very special reason. Strawberries are going to kind of start breaking down and leaking a little bit after they've been sitting for a while. And we don't want to have that happen to our crust. We don't want to have a soggy crust when we are serving this pie. This pie will need to be chilled for maybe several hours before you serve it so that it will all set back up, including the cream cheese. So you can see here we have a nice spreadable consistency to put in the bottom of our crust when we're ready to put the whole thing together. Our strawberry filling mixture is now bubbly, and the cornstarch is making its magic and making a nice thick filling. This has taken about 5 minutes to get to this point while we were making the other parts of the pie, but you can see how it's thickened up just nicely, and that means it's boiling and the cornstarch made its magic. We have a nice thick filling that we're going to put into our pie. Okay, at this point you need to cool your filling before you can finish the pie. Now we're going to put the whole strawberry cream pie together. As you remember, we already made our filling on the stove. I let it chill for a little while so it's not too hot. So this is the consistency that you want. I've already taken my strawberries, the big ones, the beautiful ones, and I've cut them in half because you don't want the whole strawberry in there. But you do want to have a big taste of fresh strawberry flavor in your pie. That makes a huge difference in how well it will be received. We already have our filling that I chilled for a little bit, but it's totally the right consistency now to put into the bottom of our crust. And I prepared some homemade whipping cream. I use usually for 2 cups of cream. I whip it up with your KitchenAid. I add a little bit of meringue powder. That helps stabilize it so that it won't weep or fall apart on top of your pie. And one of my favorite things to show, and then I go ahead and add a little bit of this to your cream with a little bit of vanilla, half a cup of powdered sugar, and I'll give you the recipe. This is how I make my own homemade whipped cream, which is far and above anything you will ever get out of the store. I have a little tool I got years ago when I was decorating, when I was catering, and I love this because I put the whipped cream in here, and you'll see how beautiful this is going to make your final pie presentation. Okay, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and take this, fill up the crust. Let me scrape it all the way out. As I said before, this is like so amazing. And I'm going to do this all the way up kind of a little bit on the sides of the crust. And as you can see, I just want to make a point of this. I've been making pie crusts for 40 years. Some have been perfect, some not. This one didn't turn out quite as perfect as I like because I think I didn't have quite enough moisture. But I want to just tell you, making a perfect pie crust is not going to make any difference. When I get this pie all covered, no one will see that it was imperfect. So don't be hard on yourself if you don't make a perfect pie crust every time. Your guests will not even care about that. They won't see it. And you want to really actually have joy, even if you make a few mistakes sometimes. And I, once in a while, keep making mistakes. So this is not my perfect pie crust, but you know what? It's going to do just fine for today because watch what happens next. Now we'll start putting these big pieces of strawberry around the pie on top of the cream cheese filling. Okay, you just arrange it around and you can see there's some big pieces and some small pieces. I'm just going to keep adding it until it's a nice big juicy bites. These are amazing strawberries, by the way, and it's going to be wonderful when you have the filling on and have it chilled ready to serve for your guests. See, I'm just going to fill it up a little bit here with some extra pieces. So it's pretty much covered. And now we're going to be putting the filling on top of this and spread it evenly all over the pie. See, so you won't even see those big strawberry pie pieces, strawberries that we just put in. But when you bite into it, you'll get that big strawberry flavor. And trust me, that orange zest and orange juice and the cream cheese, I'll go, what is in this pie that is so amazing? Now, this is a pretty big mounded pie. And what we will do is we will go ahead and chill this pie, but I want to show you how the whipped cream I'm going to put on is going to be amazing. I just got to take a little bit of, go around and just do a few of these with your stabilized whipping cream. I have the recipe for stabilized whipping cream in my cookbook, and you can decorate it however much you want. You can fill the whole thing, but I like to be able to show the strawberry. And so there, I just ran out. Didn't quite make it. Isn't that beautiful? And you made it yourself.